Hello everybody, welcome to today's episode, video blog number 12. This is Super Detailing, and we have in front of me my Line Master Challenger 3985. So in this video I will show you guys some different techniques that I've used to make my Challenger look different than when you get it as a stock model. And please note that these are my personal preferences and these modifications, and you don't have to like what I'm doing, but I am getting it set up preliminary so I can make the finalization, and I will show you how I did it. So before I begin, I want to let you guys know that there are a couple things you need to do before you make the decision. First of all is try to figure out a way, how would it look? And what I use is a silver Sharpie and a black Sharpie. So the silver Sharpie, what I did was, since this engine will be looking like the 1990 version, I originally had this as the 1980s version, but I made some changes and I will tell you guys why in a little bit. But here is one example. In 1990s version, this was, sometimes there was silver for these hubs inside, and sometimes they were black. So I decided to go with silver to match what I did on the tender, which I will show you in a minute, and also to kind of match out the real look of what it would look like if it was still running today in the modern 2020 time era. The 1980s look had a silver outline on the pilot wheels and the drivers, and the reason why I went back to the 1990s look is because I saw 4014 this year, and quite honestly, looking at what 4014 looks like now and looking at what 3985 looked like in the 90s is quite similar. Here we have the drivers. Originally, like I said earlier, this had a silver pinstripe around the whole wheel, drivers, everything on this locomotive, and I made the decision to re-blacken them, and what I did was I used a black Sharpie and I blackened them, and usually the black is a little bit shinier. However, I like how it looks now because it looks like what the driver should look like now. So I blackened everything up and it looks pretty nice, and I go in every once in a while just to touch everything up, and it still looks nice. Now this is what the Challenger does look like now, sitting in the shops in Cheyenne, and that's why I decided to paint it up black. And looking at 4014, the 4014 up in person, to me the drivers look like they're normal black you see here, but the black on the, I guess the tire, looks a lot more shinier. Here is the back set of trucks, and I have done the same thing to mask the same color as the smoke box and the firebox. And one thing that I've been working on is going back in and fixing everything. I've kind of overshot the goose with the gray, so I'm going to go back and fix it. And this quite looks really nice. Originally this was a lighter silver, but I took a black Sharpie and I did the same thing with the tender. So let me roll the tender up. I blackened it, and then I went over with the Sharpie and it brought the color back. So that's pretty cool. Now this is not my personal preference for people to use Sharpie, but I'm trying to get it so it looks like I'm okay with it, and then I will go back in and I will paint it in later. So my recommendation is, before you actually paint it, try to see if you can do a what if, and if you like it, leave it as it is. I plan on leaving my Challenger as it is right now, and I may go back in the future and re-blacken it with paint and silver up everything to finalize it. The big boy has this now. I've done the big boy drivers, and I did the the gray to match the smoke box and the firebox. So it looks pretty much like 4014, except my big boy is 4011. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's in motion. I don't have any track power, so I'm just moving it freely. It looks pretty cool. So this wraps up my video blog episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and you learned quite some cool tips. And these are not my personal preference. You could look at what these tips can do for you. I have a RF&P caboose that I took the silver Sharpie and painted the hatches for the trucks and a bunch of other things on it to match the cab roof color. And people have been using Sharpies to mask colors on damaged engines. So there's a couple people I know that have went to an art supply store, found a color similar to the Brunswick brown that the Penzi used, and fixed their Penzi GG1s that have some paint damage. Anyways, that's it for now. I will see you guys next time.